welcome back to another episode of the Unintangibles. I am today's host, Mo Aurora, and joining me as always, Jeff Shuella. Hello, Jeff. How's it going?
Hey, Mo, how you doing? You recovered from the best ball last night?
Yeah, that was fun. I'm sorry about at the end where I sort of got distracted and then couldn't pay attention and had to leave. I had a minor emergency, but everything's all good now, so it's all good.
You are a wild man, though. You wanted Pat Mahomes over Roethlisberger, Ryan Rivers.
That's interesting. You know what? Well, that might come up today, actually. So today what we're doing, we wanted to come back and do a real quick. We didn't do a top five yesterday because we did the best ball draft. So today we want to do a top five. And basically we're just going to keep it simple. A lot of people are drafting this weekend and next. So just without getting into too much analysis, we're just going to give you top five guys, top five NFL players, top five fantasy options that Jeff and I are both all in on, or each all in on. So just five guys we're all in on, just we feel strongly about. So Jeff, and did you want to say anything about this list before we begin, or do you want to just get into it?
Just five guys that I am all in and thinking that I think they're going to have great seasons. I have no reservation on picking them, and I would consider reaching for them as well.
Okay. Yeah, five strong opinions I have, whether it's guys I like at their ADP or much discussed players I'll have an opinion on. Jeff, do you want to start us off, or do you want me to start us off so you can finish?
Yeah, you go ahead. You go ahead first.
Okay, great. So there you go. I'll start right now with a player. It's not a bold prediction to say he's a good player, but there's a lot of opinions about him. Alvin Kamara. I have him in my rankings and in my heart as RB5, and I'm not here to tell you he'll go any higher than that, but I guess what I'm trying to say is Alvin Kamara in the 5 spot over Saquon Barkley over Antonio Brown, right? And the reason why I say this, the biggest objection to Alvin Kamara is that he was so efficient last year, right? It was like historically efficient. It's just like the small amount of touches he had, the insane amount of yards, number of touchdowns. There's no way he can do it again. And maybe not, probably not, right? No, let's be honest, probably not. But he could regress, which people just love getting to say the word regression, right? But he could regress, fine. He'll regress, but people have him regressing back to the average, to the mean, as if he's an average player, and this just happened to him statistically randomly. No, Alvin Kamara is well above average. Alvin Kamara's efficiency could regress all the way to still best in the league, just by a little bit less. That's it. And also, his touches are going to go up like 50% this year. So imagine what Alvin Kamara can do, the most efficient player in the league with only 300 touches. That's why he's not in the category of Le'Veon Bell, but he could do the same. He could conceivably do the same thing as Le'Veon Bell this year in 100 fewer touches. And I don't think he has any downside. I don't think he's going to become an average player. I think he's an exceptional player, and at this point, you might be getting the best player in the league, and you might be getting him 5th. So Alvin Kamara.
I think he's definitely not that I would be nervous having him as my RB1. I think fantasy owners need to start re-gearing their heads that these bell cows don't really exist anymore. There's only a few of them. Mm-hmm. And sure, he'll regress a little bit. He gets some more touches, but he doesn't need a million touches to succeed. Obviously, we found out last year he had 12, 15 touches a game, sometimes 8 carries a game. And I think this is kind of how it's going to be now. You get your combined touches and targets. Mm-hmm. I guess. I mean, he's in a great offense, great offensive line. I guess Breeze is going to throw for some more touchdowns this year because last year was, like I said, the only year I saw the stat where he didn't support 2 top 30 receivers. So something might change on that front. But, I guess fantasy owners need to realize that they're comfortable having an RB1 that's going to get 15, 16 touches a game sometimes and just be electric as Kamara can be. So
Yeah. And you bring up a good point about Breeze. Breeze is probably going to bounce back this year. He had a great season last year that he just didn't need to throw as much because the running game was so good. That'll even out, right? But I'm not that moved by that argument because I think Kamara is a big part of why Breeze is going to bounce back. And frankly, Kamara may be the second best receiver on that team. So I don't know. I feel like if you draft Kamara, you're drafting an RB2 and a wide receiver 2. So why not? It's one player.
Yeah, no, I feel good about it, and like, yeah, I mean, there's only a few of these guys who are gonna get 20 to 25 carries a game, so most of your league mates won't have them. So I guess it is advantageous to have one, but you could feel comfortable with some of these guys going in the mid first round to be still efficient. I still think he's going to be efficient. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, he doesn't have much downside. The
Yeah.
downside is just that he might not be historically good. He might just be the best, like the most efficient, but closer to the pack. Like I don't know what the downside is. Can you imagine a bad Alvin Kamara season? I don't know what that looks like. Unless
I think Jonathan Williams may vulture some touchdowns early on.
Sorry?
I think Jonathan Williams may vulture some touchdowns early on in the season because he's going to have the Ingram role. He might take a couple away.
Okay. Do you think Jonathan Williams will have as good a season as what Mark Ingram did in the Mark Ingram role last year?
But I think Williams can end up, if Ingram's out for 4 games, Jonathan Williams can have 3-4 touchdowns after those 4 weeks.
Okay, fair enough. I'm willing to live with that. I'll say that. Anyway, we spent too much time on my number 5. I was trying to get him out of the way. So imagine how long this is going to take. Jeff, you
All right. Well, I'm glad you chose Kamara because I chose Saquon Barkley.
Okay, good.
He's going right after Kamara. So we're on the same wavelength here, Mo.
Yeah, we both arrived at that's a decision. That's a stance we're taking. That's fine.
Sure, these are easy guys to say, but at the same time, like, if you want to get that guy who could possibly get the 20 to 25 carries, Saquon could be that guy. He could be one of the next to last guys to do this now. And your current, classic contemporary player of the skilled at receiving. It just happens to be that he's good at almost everything. So he's, I just think that he will get the volume, obviously, and if provided he's healthy, I think he will be a top 3 fantasy pick next year. That's all I got to say. I mean, I don't think people are worried if he can't be an interior runner. I think he's going to just be everything the Giants wanted him to be.
Yeah.
And they'll regret it because they won't have a quarterback soon. But I just think I'm not worried about Jonathan Stewart. I'm not worried about Gallman. I just think Barkley is good for at least 1,600 yards total.
Yeah, I think
and maybe 10 touchdowns. So he's a great RB1.
Absolutely. I mean, I would take Kamara over Barkley, but that's only because you'd be hoping that Barkley does what Kamara did, right? But Barkley, yeah, I mean, look, so if you're trying to find the next DJ, the next Bell, the next Gurley, the next of these running backs, this small handful of running backs that can do it all, like really do it all, maybe you find him in the 16th round of your draft, like people found Kamara last year, but more like the most likely chance is to find the guy in the middle of the first round. You know what I mean? Like Barkley, like it's just, yeah, like if anyone's going to be the next to join that elite class, like Barkley, it's Barkley versus the field, right? And I think, he's going to be given the opportunity. Like he's being drafted and like started like with that idea in mind. Be one of these guys. Be our Bell, right? Obviously, standard caveats apply. The guy, he's a rookie, which means skill-wise he's good, but experience he still lacks something. And who knows what it'll be like. That we're assuming a lot of improvement for the Giants, but like there's a lot of people that have to improve and places that have to improve. It won't all go smoothly. The guy's going to be a 22, 23-year-old celebrity in New York City. Hey, things can go wrong. Standard stuff can go wrong, but everything that you're looking for in a guy that can go right, Barkley seems like he has it. So, yeah.
What I feel good about Barkley is that he just seems to be an intelligent person. So that's what I'm really banking on, too. He seems like he's a smart guy.
That's part of what I mean. Yeah, he's the total package. Yeah.
It doesn't seem like he's into the drinking and drugs or the after-hour stuff. He just seems like a smart guy. Apparently, he asks a lot of questions, and he loves football. So, like, I have no problems. I'll take Barkley.
Yeah, it's worth a shot, man. The job is secure enough that even if he ends up having like a tough but okay first year, you could live with him being an RB2 instead of an RB1 and get lucky somewhere else. So yeah, okay, great.
We have to be more efficient ourselves, but we're on intangibles. So
right. This one I'll bang out super fast. We don't need to spend too much time on. Nobody's talked about him at all this preseason. But I think for where he's going, it's a chance to be really good. And that is Atlanta Falcons wide receiver Calvin Ridley, who and my basic argument is I'm slightly down on Julio compared to everybody else. We've seen that offense can support 2 good receivers. especially if you add like even last year in a bad year, Sanu plus Taylor Gabriel, that can all be replaced by one guy, right? And I think Calvin Ridley, he runs a full route tree. He's familiar with Sarkisian from playing at Alabama. Julio's another Alabama guy. I think it's a good offense, and I think that there's room for a second receiver to do well. And I think Calvin Ridley he's got a polished NFL game. He can step right in and.
That is stunning. I would have never guessed Calvin Ridley on your list. Yeah. So you're telling me you would draft Ridley with confidence. So you're all in on Ridley this year. You think he's going to be immediately?
I would. There's no way that wherever he's going right now in ADP, there's no way that I would wait for him to fall further than that. And depending on how my draft had gone up before me, I might surprise myself by taking him around earlier. Wow. I think, I'm just confident that he can step in. It's the opposite of my Kamara pick and Barkley, like the guys that we're talking about, these like be dazzled by their amazing skill. But Calvin Ridley's the opposite. Like Calvin Ridley, he just seems like he's good and he is NFL ready and he can step right in and they know what they want from him. And I think, he's just going to quietly step right in and get the job done.
And he does have a wide receiver name. Calvin Ridley is a wide receiver.
Great wide receiver name. Yes, Jeff.
Great wide receiver. He's still Irving Fryer, but he's still pretty good.
Yeah. Okay. One day this season, we're going to have to do your all-name all-stars. Yeah. So
all right.
We'll save the good ones until then, but we'll bring that up at a later date. That's a tease. Right. How about your number 4?
My guy may surprise you. Possibly it's David Njoku.
Okay. No, that's a good one.
If I missed out on any of the top, because I'm out on Zach Ertz completely this year, so if I don't get Gronk or Kelsey, I don't mind waiting to get David Njoku, who I just think is going to be a red zone guy. Like I think he can score 8 to 10 touchdowns this year. Honestly, I think he can. I don't know if his yardage is going to be huge, but he looked kind of polished last year, and like towards the end of the season, he seems like a mature guy. He seems like obviously. He could be, I don't know if he has the leaping of Jimmy Graham, but I think he's got that that end zone presence that Graham has. So I would be very happy with David Njoku as my tight end 1 this year. No reservations. I'm all in.
Yeah, okay. That's strong. But I like it because I think tight end's a weird position. And because of that, I feel like the way we talk about tight ends is backwards because everybody's like, all it takes is one weirdo to like one Gronk early. And then everybody else is in a race to see how long they can wait to get the worst tight end and be proud of them, right? Like people, I feel like, it's not terrible. It's not unfair to say that when you're like imagining your fantasy football roster and like what you might have to do, this and that, you're prepared to get nothing from your tight end. You're prepared to go weeks like getting nothing from nobody, right? So if that's the case, and there are like 2, maybe 3, but I'll say 2, like ultimate stud, like there's no doubt they're great. They're the best players at the position. They're the best players on the team kind of type. If the only downside is you lose that Gronk or Kelsey type and end up with nobody, like then why not do that? Because otherwise you're just choosing to end up with nobody. So if you're going to do that, so Njoku's a guy who be prepared to get nothing, I guess, but because if it's bad in Cleveland, but like you might get a great player, you know?
No, I feel
settle for okay guys.
Yeah.
And just try to get a great player there. Yeah.
I'm definitely fighting the sun here. It's getting darker, so keep it moving. I'm gonna get that. Go ahead, Mo. Next guy.
So it's my 3 now, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna stick to the same team, and I'll say an honorable mention goes to a man that I've already talked about enough, and that's Josh Gordon, but I'm all in on him apart from this list. But on this list, great value for where he's going, both immediate production and future opportunity. Running back Nick Chubb, who you notice people are not anointing Nick Chubb the way they did Ronald Jones, Sony Michel, Rashad Penny, everybody, Darius guys, all these guys. Everybody is high on Chubb as a talent, but they're not because he's clearly the backup to Carlos Hyde. Duke Johnson is there. He is Duke Johnson. He's like playing his own position, but Hyde is in front, and Hyde's a good player. Hyde, there is a scenario in which Hyde has a 3rd really good season in a row and is quietly an RB1, RB2 border kind of, right? But most likely that won't happen. maybe he gets hurt. Maybe Cleveland's a rough situation. Maybe Chubb is just a superstar. But there's a scenario in which you're going to get Chubb for the price of a backup, and then one day wake up to an RB1, RB2. Who knows? And I think that's not going to happen with a lot of these other rookies getting drafted ahead of them. You're hoping that you have a starter from day one. With Chubb, you don't have to have that expectation of him. And then you can just he'll be found money. He'll be a $20 bill in your pocket.
Yeah, I think if he's an RB3, I'm all in on Chubb, or RB4, maybe RB3 in a keeper, a dynasty league, I guess. But RB4, all in, super all in on Chubb. But like obviously not RB1 or RB2.
So in my league, my stupidly big league, he's a 3, definitely.
Yeah.
But I would say in a more reasonable sized league, if I felt like he wouldn't make it back to me in the 4th, I might take him late 3rd just to make sure I get him. As a 3rd running back, not round, running back. I would take him as a low-end RB3 if I felt like I couldn't get him as a 4.
Couple stupid questions. Okay, Burkhead or Nick Chubb?
I'll say Chubb.
Okay.
That'll be the actual hard stance I'm taking. Nick Chubb is going to have a better year than Rex Burkhead.
Get a gun to your head, buddy.
I mean, I live in America, so I'm sure in some way there always is one.
It's a gun on your head right now from some angle. So
yeah, but
all right.
Nick Chubb's gonna have a better year than Rex Burkhead. That's my number 3. Jeff, you're number 3.
My number 3, and this is all standard scoring, by the way. I have Njoku. I think he's a touchdown guy, and then remember my next guy is Kenny Stills.
Good.
Comfortable as my wide receiver 3. I'd be happy to put him in as a flex. I just think everyone's out on Devontae Parker. Mm-hmm. And I just think Stills has the body type. He's large, and I look for guys that can score touchdowns, and he can splash it too. He's got the speed. And if anyone is going to catch some balls in Miami, I think it'll be Kenny Stills.
Yeah, I agree. I think also want to use this opportunity to say shout out to another of my honorable mentions, only because I've already talked about him too much. Kenyon Drake. He would be on this list if I hadn't already talked about him, and then Christopher Harris put him on number 1 on his list. But check the time code.
This is the Kenyon Drake, Josh Gordon podcast. This is who we are.
Yeah, but no, Kenny Stills, same thing, man. Even on a bad team, the best. You know why Kenny Stills is always on the waiver wire, and you're glad that you have him, is because he's often the best receiver on a bad team, and he happens to be sitting on the waiver wire. And he's still going to be the best receiver on a bad team, but now we recognize that the best receiver on this bad team can actually still be pretty good. And so he's going to get drafted, and I think he's a good one. I think, yeah.
Very solid.
Kenyon Drake and Kenny Stills are going to be the only guys making the Miami Dolphins worth it this year for fantasy fans.
Barely, but they will. Okay.
Yeah. All right. So time for my number 2, correct?
Yes.
All right. He came up earlier. He came up last night, and we drafted him, and then you brought him up again tonight. Kansas City Chiefs quarterback Pat Mahomes. I like him. I like him where he's going. I don't want to get carried away. I wouldn't take him ahead of Brady.
What?
I would not take him ahead of Brady. I don't like Brady, but I would not take him ahead of Brady. That's probably where I would draw the line. Is all right. I'll take Tom Brady.
You're insane.
No. Here's the thing, though. I think, yes, I'm a sucker for what we saw the other day, that big arm, that throw, that 69-yard touchdown pass to Hill. Here's the thing. You cannot, if you have that arm and you have Tyreek Hill on that team and you have Sammy Watkins on that team, you have the constant fear of a deep threat from both sides of the field. You cannot defend that. You can't. You can't all game. If you defend that all game, what does that mean? You give even more of a cushion? You have one guy go straight back to the goal line every time? What would you have to give up in order to defend that constant deep threat, right? And that will allow Pat Mahomes the space to complete the professional quarterback throws that he needs to make and learn how to make and get better at making. And all it takes is once a game. All it takes is once for Tyreek Hill to just be the fastest guy on the field. Sammy Watkins, just, all it takes, Kelsey, all it takes is one play like that. And he can do it at any time. And you can't defend it. And so I don't want to get away from it. It's just it's worth it. Even all the interceptions he throws, I think it'll be like an Andrew Luck on his stat line, 4 touchdowns, 2 interceptions.
Yeah, if you lose points on interceptions, it's going to hurt. And I like what you're saying about Mahomes. I don't disagree with it. I would definitely not draft him as my QB1 at this stage of his career. Uh, I'd be very happy as a QB2. I'm all in on a QB2.
See, here's what I would do: is I would rather take a chance on him as a QB1 and have a stable backup QB2.
The problem is Mahomes is already going too high, so I wouldn't say you're reaching, but you take him at his price as your QB1. You'd be
yeah, no, I mean, if I'm higher than the market and the market's too high for you, then fine. I'm not gonna overpay for him. If I don't need to, I won't. But I'll take the chance on him where he's going. I might.
Josh Gordon, Kenyon Drake, Pat Mahomes. This is the team that you want. You're a high roller, Mo.
But let me ask you though. Come on, come week 4, week 5. Okay, come week 6, and I'm 3-2 with that team. You're not a little bit worried? You're not a little bit worried? Oh shit, Pat Mahomes.
I'm not scared to play you as much because I know it's boom or bust basically. So
yes, but everybody's afraid of the boom. The bust.
I don't even know what the floor looks like on those 3 guys, but
yeah, man. Anyway, so Pat Mahomes. I'm just saying. Look. Find a way to defend that. Find a way to defend that. I don't even think the NFL can. So you find a way.
Yeah. By the way, I don't want to come off as like super conservative, like Larry Fitzgerald with every pick, but like at the same time, like I balance out my crazies and my less crazies.
But you know what? You have, if I may, just because it comes up, you have more at stake than I do. So maybe that helps explain it. Maybe. You know? I just play for a little bit and I'm willing to lose it. Look, man, I do not like being 7-6. I hate 7-6. 9-4, 4-9. That's all I want to be. But, you know what I mean? There's no point. You can rebuild. I play in 2 keeper leagues that are not. They're so involved, yet you can still rebuild your team in a year. Yeah. So I'm willing to risk bad seasons because that's the only way you have great ones. You know what I mean?
Well, you're still making educated decisions. You're making educated guesses here. So it's not like you're just pointing at the player and clicking. So
no, yeah, I'm not just being a wild man about it. Like there's a method to my madness. I'm literally like, if I think a team full of boomer bust players, but still drafted like accordingly, like to their ranks, would do very well. I think there's a lot of variance in it, but like I think on average, 2 of those guys will go off every week. They can just take turns. It all
go up. Yeah. For a best ball, that's cool. Which is why I didn't mind it last night. But okay, well, I'm getting super dark here, so let me continue. And I like how you went quarterback. And we obviously everyone says in their shows we didn't rehearse this, but my next guy is Marcus Mariota.
Okay.
I just think that I think the Titans would be the new Rams if there is a new Rams. I just feel that all the pieces are in place now. I know they said Rashard Matthews just had knee surgery, but I think that Mariota's mature. I think he is at least a year removed from his broken leg now. Mm-hmm. And I think that he's ready to excel. I just think he's a smart quarterback. I think he's going to be very efficient, and I think he's going to be ready to make some big down-the-field plays. I think Corey Davis is ready to emerge. Mm-hmm. I mean, I didn't look at schedule or anything. I just feel good about Mariota more than Patrick Mahomes, more than Trubisky, more than I mean, I don't think it's crazy to say I think he'd have a better year than Carson Wentz, some of these younger guys. So I just feel good about Mariota. I would draft him.
Yeah. I mean, you know me, I might have been a year early on Mariota. I was in on him last year, and I had to recover from having him as my quarterback for the first half of the season. Yeah. But Tennessee is a good bet to be this year's Rams. That's a good pick. I think I like that backfield because there's 2 chances for one of them to be good, and there's a very good chance that both will be pretty okay. So that, it'll be good. I think you mentioned Rashard Matthews. I like Rashard Matthews because I think he's a professional and goes out and does it. But like, I don't think if they don't end up having him very much, I don't think they'll miss him. It sounds like Tywan Taylor is his name, the guy cropping up.
Yeah, he looks great, Tywan Taylor. Yeah. I mean, from what I hear,
sure. But like, I think they've moved on. They've moved on without Rashard Matthews. I'm not worried about Rashard Matthews doesn't bother me. But hey, bonus, you might get Rashard Matthews as well later, right? So yeah,
I feel good. I feel good. I would draft him.
Yeah. All right. So I'll give my number one, and then you can give yours. Is yours a spicy one? I hope so. Because
Very
mine's
spicy. Very spicy.
okay. I'm gonna go number one here. Just yeah. No, this is the strongest opinion I have. Right. This is an argument that I've been having a lot. I have too many arguments, by the way. But no, this is an argument that I don't think I've had it enough. But I want to just not have to have it. Evan Engram is a good tight end. Evan Engram has a chance to be a special tight end. He has a chance to be a special player at a position where very few are. And I feel like he's worth the shot where he's going because people are worried that last year it was because everybody else was out, so he got a ton of volume. He was not very efficient. They were throwing to him 20 times a game, and he was only catching it 12 times a game or whatever. You know what I mean? Like insane work, insane workload. But it's like that's all it was, you know. And now that Beckham will be back, they have Barkley, Sterling Shepard. Sterling Shepard went off when he came back last year, right? You know, they're saying maybe all the attention goes away from Engram. He's just a guy. But I think Evan Engram is better than Sterling Shepard. I think Engram is the second best receiver on that Giants team. I think Sterling Shepard is very ordinary and he can only thrive as another guy on the field around good players. You know, I think, and when he came back, he joined a Giants team that to that point had been the Evan Engram show, what, you know, such as it is. And then Sterling Shepard was there to go off big games because all they cared about was Engram. I think Engram, he proved he was up to the job the whole year. He showed up to a football team, and then everybody else around him was suddenly gone. And he said, fine, I'll do it. And he did it all. He played hard all year. He played well all year. He learned on the job. I think he gained as much experience as David Njoku will end up by the end of this year, maybe. You know, I think he proved that he's a capable guy. He's a gamer. He's good. He's really talented. He's got wide receiver talent at tight end. A lot of tight ends don't even have tight end talent, and you're going to be starting them. I think, again, take a shot on a guy who has a chance to be really good and risk having to scramble at tight end as we all have to. I put Evan Engram ahead of Jimmy Graham as my tight end 3.
I am shocked. I'm honestly shocked that you Evan Engram is number 1 on your all-in guys list. And
that was just building up because we haven't talked about him at all. So
I think this is grounds for our first personal bet at the Unintangibles. We'll have Evan Engram versus David Njoku fantasy points.
Really? Okay, we'll talk about that.
We could organize a board, and we could. Would you take that bet? Evan Engram has more fantasy points than David Njoku.
Straight up.
Straight up.
Yeah, I'll take that bet.
And you're scoring, obviously.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll take that bet. I'll take that bet. All right.
So our first bet has been placed.
Okay.
Figure out what the stakes are and what the winner and loser has to do, but I'll start documenting those.
Okay. Sounds good.
I'll wrap up my list right now. I mentioned it before. I'm going with John Brown.
Wow.
I don't know why. Like, I feel like he's like Steve Smith reincarnated in John Brown. I don't know. He just seems like, not that he's ever going to be Steve Smith, but he reminds me of, he's got characteristics of him. He's very popular, very feisty, kind of, I don't know if he's the same height, but they kind of, you know, fight for the ball. If there's ever 50-50s, he seems to be the underdog who always gets the ball. And he seems like a guy that fits the Baltimore Ravens, and I don't know why, but I'm just having visions of John Brown having a very insane season. Like, I'm not saying he's a wide receiver 1, but I think definitely a wide receiver 3. I think he could, I don't know, man. I just feel like he's going to get upwards of relevancy for sure. Maybe 8 touchdowns, and I think he's going to surprise a lot of people. I just think
the last 3 years that we've been waiting, he will finally reward us by being a wide receiver 3.
I think we haven't heard the last of John Brown, and I know he's had his health issues, but if he can put it together for a year, I just see it in this Baltimore Ravens uniform, man. I see him making a lot of these Victor Cruz like long plays.
Okay. Yeah, I do think that I'm optimistic about Baltimore bouncing back. I thought last year was a season from hell, but they're a pretty good organization to have that kind of year, 2 years in a row, and they have had really good seasons with that kind of talent. So anything is possible. in that regard. So I'm just generally, expecting Baltimore to bounce back. I think John Brown is an upgrade over Mike Wallace as a deep threat.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. Here's the funny thing is I think Crabtree is a perfect fit for Baltimore. And I think Mike Wallace was severely miscast as the Crabtree in that offense.
That's right? A terrible thing.
Yeah, but I think Wallace is like he's a deep threat, right? But but Wallace was seen as an upgrade as a deep threat over Torrey Smith, and he is again now replacing Torrey Smith. I think Wallace is actually an upgrade over Torrey Smith in Philadelphia, and like possibly waiver wire last round pick kind of territory. But now John Brown, it's like, oh yeah, no, John Brown, that's the deep threat you want. Maybe just newness. We all just want newness, but like Baltimore needs a deep threat, and John Brown can do it. And if his health issues are behind him, I heard some probably not medical explanation that apparently Arizona is also relatively high elevation. So the same way that people with sickle cell can't play in Colorado, apparently it's like it's low enough that you can try in Arizona, but it's hard enough that it'll affect you. Listen, I'm not a doctor, even though I look like one. Whoever said that wasn't a doctor, but like maybe I'm willing to believe that somebody believes in their own quack idea in a sense. You know what I mean? And but maybe there's something to it. Maybe change of scenery, whatever it is that John Brown can thrive in Baltimore. That's sea level, and he's a good player, man. We've been waiting on him for a few years because we believed in him. And,
I don't know what the altitude is.
Do not see any Steve Smith comparison to him at all. And I believe that he's been around long enough that I would have heard that. If there were any Steve Smith-like comparisons, you might just be thinking of small Baltimore Ravens receivers. But I think John Brown, that's a wild take, man. That's a good pick. We'll see.
That wraps up my list. So we'll see. Yeah. And we'll have our first bet of the year. We have Evan Ingram against Njoku, so that'll be fun.
Yeah, Evan Ingram will finish ahead of Jimmy Graham as well. I think he should be a tight end 3. Just to reiterate.
Any final thoughts?
My final thought is this was fun. Thanks, Jeff. We are all over the place, too.
We may not be back later this week. We'll see where we stand, but enjoy the preseason week 3. It's so important.
Yeah. Are you looking for anything in particular?
I'm not. I have a show tomorrow night, so I don't know what to look for right now. So we'll see.
Yeah, man. Don't worry about it. I'm just rooting for no injuries. That's
man. Let's know guys.
I'll take a lack of clarity.
Yeah.
For no injuries.
Yeah, no, for sure.
I would love it if the rankings stayed exactly as they are from now until I draft, just so I don't have to react to any more changes. But
we'll have a lot more to talk about next week. Things are more established. Drafts, more and more drafts have been done. ADPs will have moved, so jobs will have won on the training camp. So
and we will also have our draft. We're both in a league together. We're gonna have our draft on Sunday.
That's right. We can talk about that, and maybe we'll
see. We're not going to spend too much time talking about our own team on this show, but that'll be fun just because we're in a league together. Jeff's the defending champion, by the way, and I was the runner-up because I'm the only person in the world who managed to have Todd Gurley and Alvin Kamara and not win his league's championship. So,
and I didn't have Deion Lewis, so
there you go.
Anyways, we'll talk about that next time. But for now, I'll see you guys later. Thanks for watching the Unintangibles. Mo, you want to take us out?
Yeah, we want to do the sign out? All right, I am ready to go. So 3, 2, 1. Thank you for joining us on the Unintangibles. I hope you enjoyed the show. We'll be back sometime soon. I hope to see you there.